Hey guys, what's up? Allie Marie here with Face Your Phoenix. Today we're starting with this back garden bed. I'm enlisting the help of my two very capable daughters over here, and we're going to be weeding all of this and then adding in some wildflower perennial seeds. So basically we're gonna get all this mustard weed out of there. This is such an invasive species. It's very actually obnoxious. And then I got some loppers to actually take off some of these overgrown branches through here and hopefully get that maple tree out of here. But yeah, so we're gonna get started on this today and hopefully be able to even get those. I'll till up the ground, and our pH levels are good, everything else, so hopefully we'll just be able to get those seeds planted and kind of get some wildflowers going, because if we're gonna have cherries, we need pollinators around. So we're gonna try to get some stuff that's gonna draw in the bees and kind of see how that goes. And yes, you get to help for sure. This little one's anxious to help, little Evelyn, with her new Paw Patrol garden gloves. So here we go. And honestly, we had a big storm this morning, so it's actually a great time to enlist kids' help because the ground is super soft from the rain that we got, but it's warm outside now, so they're gonna be able to pull the plants or the weeds and actually get the roots without too much difficulty. So we actually have a bunch of these in our yard which have the deepest roots. Here, I'll pull this one up and show you. What I do is actually put the shovel right next to it, like that, and then I kind of loosen it so that the root can come out. And then when you pull it out of the ground, it still snapped the root, but yeah, they're quite the solid root. It's amazing to me how you can plant something like tomato plants. It needs really, really, really deep roots, and they can just be so easily upset. Like the things that you actually need, the food that you actually need, can be so easily upset just by the simplest thing. But then you have these weeds that you don't even want. They are invasive. They just keep multiplying and keep going no matter what you're doing, right? You're trying everything you can to get rid of them, and they just keep going, and they have these phenomenal roots. Like they just like really ingrain themselves in there, and they try to choke anything that you're trying to grow that is actually good and nourishing for your body. And so I think that that's a great testament. Like I think that God knew what he was doing when he was tying everything together by saying there are going to be these things that really easily take root. They can ingrain themselves so quickly. They can do all of these things, and they are going to hold on as tight as they can. They are going to multiply as quickly as they can, and they're going to be so hard to get rid of. But if you persist, if you persevere, if you do these things and overcome the weeds and overcome the roots that they are trying to put a grip on you, on your plants, then the fruit that is going to come forward is going to nourish you. The fruit that is going to come forward is going to sustain you. It's going to draw you closer to nature. It's going to draw you closer to God. God did not make any mistake when he made this world, as everything is a metaphor. Everything ties back to him. Everything plays into the fact that we are his and he is ours, and we belong to each other. And the fact that these weeds exist, they're from, like, it sounds dramatic, but I mean, God did not intend for weeds to choke anything out. Sure, they may have survived on their own. They may have had their own area that they existed, but ultimately God wanted us to be able to thrive. He wanted us to be able to be nourished, to be sustained by everything that is good and fruitful. And so that's what he does for us now, is he intervenes. He takes care of those weeds for us if we surrender it to him by saying, these weeds do not have a hold on me. I am going to move forward in the truth that I know, which is if I turn to God, he is going to help me bear the fruit that is going to be nourishing to my soul and to the souls of others. See, look at this one. We actually have another weed in our yard that grows that's called pokeweed, and it like really reminds us of mandrakes, but this isn't too far off. But no, I mean, they get like huge, like the faces of mandrakes. So anyway, my middle daughter really wants to go inside. My husband had to go up to Home Depot for a couple things, so I might have done all I can do today. So here is day one. There's the pile of what I've taken off. I gave the quince bush a major haircut. And then here we got I still have grass there that I need to pull up that got back there, and this area still didn't get much done either. But we're making progress. Right? This wheelbarrow too, full of weeds. But I tell you what, every time that I get the weeds out super, super deep, like the deeper the longer the root is, the more satisfying it is, right? Like if I have to sit there and I have to loosen the dirt 3 times around it, and then I get most of the root and I know this thing is not growing back. Like that's my goal. Some of these more shallow weeds you just kind of pull up and they don't have super deep roots. Like, you know, they're easy enough to get rid of. But the ones that really have a hold, the ones that are really there, that have really thick weeds, really thick roots, those are the ones you have to really work at. And it's all the more satisfying to overcome, which is what facing your phoenix is, right? It's finding those things that are just so deeply rooted in our lives that are holding us back from reaching the potential that God has for us, and reaching that and finding, how can I uproot this out of my life so that I can become the woman or the man that God is calling me to be. So I just want to share that with you today. It's been a productive day in this backyard garden. We're not to planting quite yet, but you know, it's a start. It's a step in the right direction, and that's all that we can do. That's all that God is asking of us, is to take that step toward Him, take that step toward, you know, everything that He has in store for us. And He promises that He will give us a reward. We will have wildflowers here eventually. And I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. I just appreciate you joining me today. Thanks so much, and God bless you. I look forward to growing with you again soon.